You're muted,
You're
sir.
muted. I shouldn't be. Nothing over here says I am muted, so
all good now. We can hear you.
Okay, that was just my computer glitching in. What's up, everyone? We are live for another episode of Spin from the Rail. Once again, I am Matt, and joining me, as always, is the wonderful Allison Salamoni, or as we all call her, Alimony, and the Quizmaster,
so glad that nickname has stuck
real
around.
Jeff. The real Jeff is with us once again.
Jeff is my government name. You're going to call me Dan from now on.
Don't want them to find you.
Oh God. Anyways, we're here. we're here.
We're doing great as always.
Yes.
If you cared to know, by the way. Yeah.
Yes. But we're gonna break from the new format for a bit tonight because for those who follow this fandom and have been living under a rock, we got a somewhat unfortunate announcement at the end of this past Friday's Titans. And that was that our champion, our Star Wars champion, Thomas Harper, had to pull a Sam Levine and retire on us after only giving us one defense. And it sucks because a lot of us, the three of us on this screen, as I can say, got close to Thomas. And other people throughout this entire space have gotten close to Thomas over the last year or so. So it sucks that we have to lose him now, but it's totally understandable. Family is important. We've all had to make those hard choices in life, but we figured tonight for about the first half hour or to an hour or so, we would give this space to our buddy Thomas Harper, and he can just come on and say his goodbyes, and just let's bring him on now.
You introduced this like it's a wake. Like you have to give my
It was like, Jesus Christ.
It's like literally your funeral that you're alive for.
PJ murdered him with a question.
The amount of ums and uhs in there, dude.
He helps change the way that we look at the wheel slices in round 2, and then said, you know what? I don't want to.
You know what the trick is? He actually wrote that out and included all the ums and uhs and pauses in there. He rehearsed it a few times in the mirror. He checked in with me. He sent me a video for me to review to make sure that was perfect. Actually, perfect. No notes.
The ums are more so doing with the fact that my computer is freezing and it's like, what's going on?
So glad it's not my internet anymore, and that
my internet's being fine. It's just my computer itself is freezing at times.
It can't deal with the news of me stepping back.
No, it can't.
Clearly.
It's what it is. It's exactly what it is.
Star Wars trivia.
Oh no.
What is that? Now you can spend all your time focusing on the sci-fi franchise that you actually love. The
Star Trek,
starring Seth MacFarlane.
No, Star Trek.
What are you going like? What is something you're most looking forward to now that you're not filling every hour of your free time with studying?
So I'll put it in a way that definitely any Star Wars competitor will know, and probably the other competitors that are in other divisions. When you're in season, whether you're fighting for a title, defending a title or not, there's this persistent pressure to be devoting what time that you do have, what spare time you have, to prepping. And compared to singles or teams, and to a certain extent IG, where there's almost this like resignation that you can't know everything because of the volume. It's just like at a certain point, Bateman's done the math. There's like mathematically no way that in your lifetime you can study everything that's out there for those divisions. And there's a certain piece that comes with that, even though there's a lot of hard work and hours that go into it. But with Star Wars, as I think Molly put it the other night on POV, there's this push, like an arms race within the Star Wars division. It's been this way forever, but to know everything, because it is relatively finite. And you've got 12 movies. You've also got a massive amount of written material with it, as we all know. But it's still like you can sort of stack it in a way. And there are people that are like out there plumbing the depths, as I had to do last year. And you know that if you're not doing it, somebody else is going to outwork you and beat you at the end of the day. You're going to get that question that just slipped out of your grasp. Like if you just kept going a little bit longer. Whereas in singles, you're like, I've never heard of that. That movie completely escaped me. It was before my time. It wasn't in a genre that I like, whatever. I would absolutely. Me retiring, it's like, think of Aladdin at the end when the genie gets freed from the lamp. Like, that's me right now. I'm just like, I'm not going anywhere. I may not officially be involved, but I'll be here. It's not like I have to disappear from the face of the earth. But anyways, there's this like pressure that goes along with that. And it's like crushing. Like I would be, at work thinking about studying. I'd be, doing other stuff where I should have my focus on other things like the family, and your mind is like drifting to like this, not even like thinking actively about Star Wars, but it was like the pressure to go dedicate that time. Like, well, I got to get up at 4 a.m. because the kids get up at 6:45. So if I can get myself out of bed at 4, that's a solid like 2 hours of studying, if I can squeeze in some time to eat breakfast there. And like, that was my life for a year. Like, on camera, you see like the product that you see isn't natural. Like I, love Star Wars and some knowledge comes with that. But at the end of the day, it's hours upon hours of work and just grinding. And my faction mates from last year and the folks, even some folks that weren't on my faction that got a chance to be with me behind the scenes. And, I'm not one to keep secrets about my prep, and like actively prepped with people outside my faction and in some cases other competitors. But it's just a grind. To not have that anymore is really freeing. I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss competing and like that drive to win, but like I achieved what I set out to do. I've done like what very few people have had the good fortune to do, which is win and defend and play live and digital and play it spectacular and win it spectacular. Like at a certain point, like what are you chasing? And so there's a certain peace I think that comes with the decision, even if, I'll miss it quite a bit.
And I have to say, I mean, and other people are saying it in the chat, Mike Deacon, before he starts ragging on Jeff like he always does, and it's wonderful content, saying you're a class act every way, and it's been an honor getting to know you. I agree with that sentiment. I mean, you're the first competitor that I ever met in person, and there's been stuff that you've done for me, and here I am, I'm gonna fucking cry because like it's true. Like there'd be all the other stuff that I'm doing on the side, like being involved with these guys as much as I am, and now being on this show. Don't know if that would have ever happened without that New York event. Wouldn't have the audio podcasting that I've been getting off the ground and doing without conversations with you. So there's if people aren't lucky enough to know you enough to know you outside of just the Star Wars itself as well, you're just an incredible human being. And it's not just your knowledge that's going to be missed, and you'll still be around, but it's you. and I'm so grateful to have your friendship and to have gotten to know you and meet you through all of this.
Thanks, Al. You're way too kind. That means a lot. I literally, as I was mulling this decision over, my wife first didn't believe that I was honestly serious about it. There were times like last year I would just get frustrated. Like you get so competitive and so locked in on things, and you're so down the rabbit hole. And I would have these moments where I'd be like, "What am I doing? Like, what am I doing here?" And she's like, "You're not going to walk away. Like you're wedded to this thing." As much as we're married. But as I got serious and started digging into the decision, I quite literally made sort of like a positive negative chart of like, nothing fancy, but just kind of charting out the pluses and minuses. And what I circled on that list, because my wife was like, what matters to you? What keeps you playing? Like, what has kept you in this? Because like, it ain't like as much as it's Star Wars, like it ain't like getting up at 4 a.m. and then going to bed at 10 and like having it your days bookended by just grinding through studying. Like that's not it. And she was right. And when I reflected on it, it's the people. It starts with and this is not something that I anticipated when I came in the league. I was solely focused on like winning and the belt and blah blah blah. But it started with faction mates and it started, quite frankly, with shows like this, like being on and getting to know people and just having their passion about this game and about movies, about Star Wars, like ignite my own passion and sort of pour kerosene on it. And just the friendships that you make. All three of you on here have been with me through a lot of ups and downs, and like we've had some like incredible memories, all in a span of a year. And like that, you can never, like you can't lose that in a match. Like you can't lose that when you retire, and that doesn't have to get hung up and walked away from. And so when I looked at that looming large on the list, this and like competing, like the antics and being able to call yourself an active competitor, all that kind of seemed really small at the end of the day, and seemed like just really disposable items. Not that the league isn't important or that the game isn't important and whatnot, but you can trade those things. You can't trade the people that are involved, and the community has been like welcoming from day one, and I knew I wasn't going to lose that. And in some ways, I'd be able to interact in a way that I just couldn't as a competitor, like an active competitor. So that ultimately gave me a lot of peace in the decision, and it was thanks in no small part to the three of you and just the individual interactions that we've had throughout the year.
Well, Thomas, you mentioned the three of us. Real quick, before I bring on somebody else who's backstage, I do have a video to play for you from our own Chris Anthony Lopez.
Basically, we're trying to get you to cry, Thomas.
What's going on, Spin from the Real? It's your boy, Chris Anthony Lopez, quietly reporting halfway live, pre-recorded from his job because he couldn't be there tonight, and I'm so bummed I couldn't be there. Thomas, you are such a G. You are super rad, dude. From the second Matt and I got to talk to you last year, which seems like so long ago at this point, but the second we got to talk to you, we knew that you were going to be the shit. And that's exactly what happened. You were the centerpiece of the Star Wars division getting reinvigorated in the movie trivia Schmodown. And your work in that division, whether on camera or not, cannot go unsaid. And I really hope that you know that. And although you may be stepping away, hopefully not for too long, I hope you know that you have been such a bright light. Like I said, you were an indisputable MVP. I hope I said that right. Indisputable MVP of the Schmodown, and I mean that. Your on-camera presence, not only as the major, but as family man, Thomas Harper, it was refreshing to see not only the major, but to see the Star Wars division essentially on the back of a guy who can play this dastardly heel and can be just a really good guy too. Much love, Thomas. Hope to see you back in the ring soon. Hope to see you on one of these StreamYard things soon. We'll see you again. It's a matter of time. I feel it in the force. It's a matter of time. But next time, brother, I told you this on Twitter and I'll tell you again, Denny's is on me. Be good, y'all. Love you guys. Peace.
I'm not a crier, but you're testing me.
I want someone else to cry so bad. I just need one more person
I want
to
to interject,
cry.
please. Everyone here, Chris included, Thomas is very much alive. He's right here. He's going to be around.
I know.
Matt, yes, no, don't you interrupt me. I've stayed quiet long enough. All right, Matt, you sounded like you were actually speaking at a funeral. We're going backwards a bit. All right, Allison was like talking as if it was a family member who was like on the deathbed and she had to get out the last thing she ever needed to say to her. Chris, Chris is like, I don't know, like at some sort of event to someone who they're trying to raise money for, but like all of it is like with so much love. I'm gonna treat you as if you just have a slight cough. You'll get better. You're gonna relax. Enjoy your time. Hope to see you back. You're not going anywhere.
Get well soon, Gar.
To be fair, part of the reason it's I've gotten like you, I've gotten to know Thomas well over the last year, and like it's weird because Thomas quickly became one of my favorite players, and that's just how it was. Like Chris mentioned in that video, us getting to talk to him, we were one of the first shows he was on, and we we're like, we went from Dragon Con player to this is yeah, I like this guy. And
I still think one of my favorite things is probably like maybe the second time I've ever been on a stream with you, Thomas, was doing one of these hangouts where they pulled up Buck's original takes from the draft.
Yes.
And he's like,
this man will be a bust.
Just watching him like turn red and try to caveat it.
If they lose one match, that should be it. Like, it's good. What does he know? Dragon Con, these Dragon Con people.
But no.
Before
we continue, there's someone else here. We're gonna bring him on now, and that is none other than our friend and former co-host, Shug.
What is up, Shug?
I heard like someone passed away right now. I don't know what's going on.
I was a bright light. I was a bright
has
light.
A whole eulogy plan.
I'm like, wait, who passed away? Like, what's going on? Hello,
look, so now when
people.
it does happen, Thomas, none of us have to show up. Like, you've heard it. It's on record.
Said nice things.
A ghost with really nice definition.
What's going on, Matt? Allison, always looking lovely with the earrings. Jeff, I've been waiting to hear back from you. I need to use your name since everybody else is. So you can run a credit score.
That's who I'm coming back into the league as.
Yeah.
The Major's gone, but Star Wars Jeff is back.
There we go. Obviously, Thomas, I just wanted to stop in. Actually, I didn't even know you were going to be here. I just wanted to. Actually, I was about to go stand on my soapbox.
Didn't see on the thumbnail where it says featuring Thomas Harper?
No, I haven't looked at the thumbnail. We don't have to do that anymore,
out, dude.
Yeah, I checked out a while ago.
Should have checked out, but he saw the state of spin from the reel, and he was like, man, it got so white since I left, so he had to come back and just hop in for a few.
Very true. There's only a quarter of color here now.
And a woman, so we got diversity. It's fine.
Yeah, there we go. No, I mean, I'll be 100% honest with you.
I got a big nose. Does that count?
It does. It does. I was actually going to come on here and actually just kind of go off about this whole Thomas Harper thing because I haven't really been talking about any Schmodown lately. But it's kind of weird that he's right here, so I'm kind of not sure if I should. But Thomas,
PLD has another job offer for you.
I'm not that cruel, PLD, but I would love to. Ross can tell you all about my questions.
No, but I mean, obviously, Thomas, I wanted to see you defend the belt and go undefeated, especially because I am a Den chill. You're on the Den, and I wanted you to win and go on to do great things. I thought you were going to be one of the greatest champions. It still could be, like you said, you could still come back possibly. But I also know, being a father, being a person, getting to know you, you take things very serious, and you took the Schmodown serious. And it was one of the things I appreciated about you, getting to know you over the last year, was that you took it serious and you put your all into it. So no matter what, I just want to thank you for putting your all into it. One of the things I really appreciate you for was giving us the time of day. All of us, we're not we're just fans that did a podcast, whether it's LGR, whether it's Spin from the Reel, Schmo Me the Money, certain point of view. We none of us really get paid from any of this. We do it for fun. The original call to action people. And you always gave us the time of day. You always answered our messages. You always were willing to give us your time, even though you're a family man, you're a military person, you have a career. You always gave us your time. to hang out with us, to talk about Schmodown, to talk, whatever it was. And that was one of the things I always appreciated about you, and want to thank you, because one of the things you said from the beginning was that you came into the community and you wanted to, be full-fledged in the community, and you surely did that. We became friends. We became people that we could talk to with you, not just about Schmodown, not about just Star Wars, but life. Have fun. There's many fun Friday nights hanging out with you and the shenanigans on Schmo Me the Real, which was hilarious, and obviously the highlight was going to Denny's with you, which will never be topped ever again.
Man, I wish I followed through on saying I was going to.
You done screwed up. You done screwed that one up, Jeff. But yeah. So this isn't like a goodbye or anything. This is just good luck with whatever you decide to do, and if you come back, you're going to have a fan in all of us, and we're always going to support you whatever you do. And if you continue to do all your other stuff, we're always going to be there supporting that, because we enjoy you talking not only Star Wars, but life in general. And I love your tweets that you send out. They're hilarious as hell. And hopefully maybe I'll try to run by Celebration if you're there and shake your hand and say what's up and hand you a Modelo or something. I don't know, who knows, but yeah, I just wanted to stop by and say thank you for everything you've done for the community. Thank you for being a positive role model in the community. Thank you for being an awesome champ. Thank you for being a dedicated Schmodown player and someone, just being awesome. I appreciate you.
Thanks, man. You've been there since the start, and you talk about folks being fans. Like, I'm a fan that got a chance to play, and that's the beauty of the Star Wars division. Whether you're Alex Damon and Molly with closing in on 1 million followers, subscribers, or you're me, all of us have that same mentality, that accessible mentality. And I think it comes from a place of kind of realizing the sort of privilege that goes along with all of this, and not wanting that to sort of change anything. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed the Schmodown before I ever got a chance to play. That wouldn't have changed had I not gotten the opportunity, but I was bound and determined, at least for me, when I got in the league, that none of that, whether I went like 0 and lost every match that I played or ended up where I am today, none of that was going to change my mentality about where I stood with things. Because like, a trivia belt doesn't make you any better than anybody else. Certainly not one that's crowning you as the king of the dorks in Star Wars. So I think, but everybody in the division stays grounded like that. And I talk about community, like that was really important for me too. Even though there were people that have accomplished a great deal like within the community and have built like just incredible followings and whatnot, everybody's really grounded, whether it's Whiteley, the Damons, anybody. And that was really important to me. And that goes along with what I was saying before about what really mattered at the end of the day. Could have done without Evan. I'm just kidding. Even Evan, like the stuff that we trade back and forth, I'm sure he's going to be out at Celebration, so we'll have some fun stuff. It'll be my last couple days with the belt before I have to hand it off. But everybody's just been really, really great, and you've, like I said, been there since almost literally day one, and have been just nothing but kind and welcoming. And you may not realize it, but it did, from all of you, that mentality and that sort of acceptance and willingness to interact and sort of jump on board, even though I'm not somebody with a big following, or I don't have IMDb credits to my name. Being able to forge friendships and have fun and just hang out and stuff, that's meant a lot to me. That really made the last year, regardless of any success or failure in the league.
And I say it every single time, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. It just, when you talk about having fun and enjoying it and doing it because it is fun, at least originally, until you do thousands of hours of studying. But even like I was having fun at New York. I think Jeff might have been having fun at the New York event. No one was having more fun than you at the New York event with that belt on your shoulder, walking around, jumping on stage and like taking a picture like in between the matches and just soaking it all in. Like you just threw a belt on my shoulder. I was like, oh, that's a belt. And you're like, yeah, here you go. And like just the amount of fun. And I think that's the spirit of the Schmodown that I've fallen in love with it. Like watching like the matches this past week, like watching the Wildberries versus Jay Washington. Is that match going to really count for anything down the road? I don't know, but the Wildberries are really freaking fun to watch. Like it's just having a good time, and that whole idea of having fun and having a good time, and it's really done wonders just for me. I've enjoyed it so much, and I don't know if I would have enjoyed it as much had I not been at that event, meeting you and seeing a bunch of these people in person too.
That means a lot. I think the best thing about this season is that the in-studio environment has uncorked some of that. I think the biggest, I don't hate the digital era, obviously, because most of my career existed in it the way some do. But I think the biggest holdback in that space is that, not by design, perhaps, but just by virtue of like the competitiveness and sort of the way that the league shifted for a while, it shifted into this like ultra competitive mode. And it's so easy when you're on screen, like competing, to just like lock in and be like, have your kill switch on. And you kind of lose that in-person, like funness that goes along with it. Like I remember just like talking to Nikki before the match and just like interacting and stuff. Totally different vibe than when I played Andrew digitally. Like we see each other like on screen for like 2 seconds before we kick off, and it's like a very different air. Even though he's an amazing and like fun guy and somebody that I look forward to hanging out with and just like, you know, shooting the shit with, quite frankly. But it's just something weird about that digital space that does that. But I look forward. The match they had, the Star Wars TV exhibition match, was a lot of fun to watch, and I hope more of that gets infused into the Star Wars division, because I think some of the other divisions have found their footing with these fun matches, and there's a way to do that with Star Wars even in the digital space. It's just got to find its footing, and a few weeks ago, I did a Star Wars holiday special match. A few weeks ago, this is like December, probably.
It all runs together.
Yeah, it was like 5 months ago, dude.
Yeah, I know. This is like a half a year ago. It was like Gold Leader, me, Evan, Zach, Marie, Alex on there, and it was just like complete no stakes. Everybody was still competitive to a point. Like we wanted to win. But like when you got a question wrong, there wasn't like this like the air didn't get sucked out of the room. You're like, oh no, he's not going to win the title because he didn't know Chewbacca's father's name. Oh my god. And it was just, you know, at the end of the day, like you know, a winner and a loser, like a winner was picked or whatever, but it just didn't matter. But it was just fun. I remember coming upstairs after I played.
You won.
I was like,
by complete happenstance. By complete happenstance.
By doing exactly what you're supposed to do and betting all of your points on the final question.
Yeah,
No,
that's some Schmodown strategy.
Northern Entertainment Group, our buddies over there, they did that. Yes.
Yeah. So, but like more that, like if more of that comes online, like I'm all for it. Like you go in there. I think I talked to Sean Sullivan offline, and he's like, we're joking around with like the amount of work that goes into stuff, and he's like, no, I'm advocating for zero studying. If you get two people that are on that same wavelength, then you're just going in to have fun. Like both people know that there's not really much to it. Like nobody's angling for stuff or trying to get glory. You can have a lot of fun in that space, just like gunslinging like that. And all the character work can be done in there. Doesn't have to plug into some overarching storyline. And you know, I think it could breathe some new life in addition to the excitement that this new title path, however that shakes out, is going to inject into the Star Wars division.
Well, real quick, we do have 2 Streamlabs, and they're both from John Lestrina. Jeff could already probably see where this is going. The first one says, "It's never goodbye, Dom Toretto." The second one is, "It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again." Thank you,
Lustrina
Charlie Puth
is a gem.
featuring Wiz Khalifa.
I absolutely
We're giving
adore
credits to quotes.
the human being that is John Lustrina for these reasons. 100%.
We did a show with Thomas celebrating Box Nass that says everything you need to know about why I've grown to genuinely enjoy Thomas as an all-around person.
Yes.
Mike Deacon, William Harold. Thomas was the best in New York. I walked into a bar before the show, saw Schmodown people all around, and was fairly nervous. Thomas walked right up, introduced himself with absolute class.
I believe
Jeremy,
I remember that same.
Get out of my way! I'm getting first.
That was where I met Harper in person too. Is that same bar? Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Willer, I'm gonna miss Thomas making fun of Gold Leader.
That won't go away. You think that's gonna go away, Jeremy?
I think the most funniest thing, if Chris was here, he would say it too, how giddy we were. First off, when Thomas walked out as Spectacular, and we were like, this dude is a freaking action figure.
Oh my God. It was,
because you don't see how tall Thomas is until you meet him. And then like I walked up on him, and like I'm usually not afraid of people. Like I usually can, I'm a tough guy. Like I could, even if you're a little taller than me, I'll still beat your ass. And I looked at Thomas, I'm like, I ain't beating his ass. Like he's pretty big. He's a big boy. And then when I told him who I was, he like grabbed me by the shoulder with his Modelo, and he was like, "Shug!" And then we drank at the bar, which was crazy later.
While you guys were all seeing that in person, I was drunk at a bar in Texas with my husband and a bunch of other people that have never watched a Schmodown match in their life, showing everybody on my phone this entrance, and my husband being horribly embarrassed. And no one else giving a shit because they were trying to watch the Georgia game. But I was into it, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. And I think that match with Demi, I've never been – me and Chris talked about this offline, and he'll probably get mad that I say this. We were most excited for that match, and we sat next to each other watching it, and we were grabbing each other because we're like, nobody's missing. Oh, my God, she missed the bonus question. Oh, my God, Thomas had to check down. Oh, my God. And we're like grabbing on each other like morons, like – so excited. And then when Thomas won, and then the whole heel turn, like we're just like freaking out. Like every other match we were cool, we're enjoying it, but that one, I just remember me and Chris kept grabbing each other's shoulders and like, oh my God, and so Thomas, like, it's been one of the best things. And I said it, I kind of got a little heat for this. The Star Wars division was the best part of the Schmodown for the last 2 years, and you made it better. I really enjoyed what you injected into the Star Wars division, along with Zach, along with Marie, along with Gold Leader, along with Demi, and all the rookies that came along. Ross, God, what I can't remember her name right now. She had a baby. Jesus Christ. Lacey. Yeah, sorry. I don't know why I couldn't remember. I want to say Linda.
Because
I don't know why I want to say Linda, but yeah, Lacey. You guys made the Star Wars division just freaking amazing, and made it one of the best divisions, and without any real character work. Like the first time we got character work fully on was at Spectacular for you. Demi was herself, Andrew was herself, Alex Damon, everybody was themselves, and that's what I loved about this division. It was a lot of knowledge, a lot of gamesmanship, very competitive. I get it. You said it was very competitive, but that's what I loved about it, and why I thought it was the best division in the last 2 years. It was the best tournaments out of all the tournaments. You're always going to have the prestige of the singles belt being the best. Star Wars was number 2 for the last 2 years for me. Last 2 years.
Let's not forget, a lot of people felt the Spectacular Star Wars match could have been the match.
It was
the type, like the main card.
Yes.
So it was just a lot of fun. I realize it's easy for me to like give a glowing review of the match because I won, but I was so wound up in the couple days leading up. Like I remember we had, I don't know if it was the last prep session or the next to last, but I had like a horrible time. Like Kate shut it down. Like I was doing terribly in the speed round stuff, and it was getting like visibly frustrated. It was like me, her, Saul, trying to think if anybody else was in the room. And then like Silvestrini and Ross were like on FaceTime, like calling questions. And she was like, shut it down. And I was just like in this like ultra competitive, but like just consumed by stress phase. And then the day, like like call time for Spectacular came, and I'm just like talking to Nikki and Andrew, and like obviously she's as nervous as I am, maybe a little less so because she's so damn good. But like, we're just like talking like normal people, and it was like that moment where you're like, okay, this isn't somebody on the other side of a screen. We were interacting with like Molly was there, Alex was there. We were just kind of talking with other folks, and it just sort of relaxed me. And then going out, I think we both just sort of leaned into the moment. And had I lost the match, as close as that was, I can't think of a better match to go out on, whether you came out with a defense or lost the belt and got to see her like in a true moment of glory and like a moment of history for the league. And I'm sure that's coming in the near future because she's going to be fighting for the belt again. I would wager in the very, very near future. But like either way, it was like a perfect match. And that was another thing that I look back on. I'm like, at some point, like, what are you chasing? Like, what are you trying to capture other than just like trying to stay on top or trying to achieve some arbitrary record? Because like I didn't come into the league to like beat anything that Alex had done. I came in the league thinking that I would be able to take the belt from Alex, but Andrew took care of that earlier in the season. But like, it was never about like, let me cement or etch myself in somewhere. It was about like, get the belt. And then it was, okay, well, you got the belt, you haven't defended the belt, and you haven't played live. Okay, that box is checked, or both those boxes are checked. At this point, it's like, you're either playing because you like the game and because you can balance it with the rest of your life, or you're trying to find some way, like you're struggling to justify continuing to play. And for me, like the balance was incredibly tough. And that's balanced against like not having anything to want from the past season. And having had a lot of fun and made a lot of friends that will be with me for a long, long time to boot. So I like it's hard to look at that and be like, there's something else that I need to chase. I need to stay in for another season or 2 or 3. So I'm sure the itch will come back very, very soon. I was helping prep Ross for his match against Zach, and it was just like fun to just like gunsling like that. And so that's for now, like I'll be doing this like informal hangouts and like just like doing stuff outside the league proper. I made multiple people that are active competitors still standing offers. Like I have no secrets about how I prep. I'm happy, and I'm sure that I'll be assisting fellow competitors prep in their own runs, and like that's fun to me. You're in the space, you're interacting, you're hanging out with friends.
Is that are you telling us now? You're giving us a scoop that you're going to give Bateman 6 months and then he'll be a Star Wars champion?
I'll be his.
days.
Yeah, I'll be behind.
days.
He'll win, and then you'll be like, Harper did that.
Exactly. That's a great
did
shot.
it. Bateman
Yeah.
did it, but like
But it was really Harper.
Harper
Yeah.
was the Energizer battery that got him across the line.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Well, I have to go because I have to go be a nerd.
It was
and
great
play,
seeing
play Magic. That's what I do. So, of course, always Allison, Matt, Jeff, love you guys.
Good to see
Can't
you,
wait to hang
Shug.
out with you more. Thomas, again, it's not like you're like leaving this earth. You're just not playing in the Schmodown anymore.
You're not dead.
I'm haunting
Yeah,
your ass.
Right here.
So we'll talk more, and I'll still tweet at you and stuff. But again, appreciate everything you brought to the community. Appreciate your competitiveness, your willingness to be part of the community, and to really try your hardest to play the game. I appreciate that and loved it, and I will always be a fan of yours. And if you ever do come back, I'll be rocking a Thomas Harper shirt. Because I'm one of your biggest fans. So thank you for everything you've done for the Schmodown, and thank you for being awesome. Appreciate you.
We'll see each other soon. Thanks,
You guys have a good night.
Thanks, Greg.
Later.
See you, Shug.
That that was nice. I can't wait for the rumor to start on Twitter that Harper died because of how many times we say it.
He's tweeting, but I'm pretty sure he's dead. He must
It's
have
his
scheduled
Force
all these.
ghost. He became one with the Force.
Just you're gonna see someone Photoshop this screen, and Harper's just gonna be blue and transparent of it, and it's gonna be like Force Ghost Harper was once been from the real life.
This seems like a fitting end for him.
Yeah. This is what he chose to go
They
out
literally
on.
have
How
to
unfortunate.
They literally have to pry that belt from your cold, dead hands.
After he actively said he was gonna go ahead and send it back, but not really.
I did find the guy the very talented artist that designed and made the belt. I don't know if he made any of the other Schmodown belts, but he made this one. And I may or may not be like slowly squirreling away money to save up for my own replica. But
To keep, I love that. Just keep it on your own most valuable player. On
you have to give it up. You don't own the belt, but I feel like if you won the belt at any point in time, like you can have a replica.
I mean, it's what they do for football players. Not only do they get championship rings, some of them actually have replica Lombardi trophies.
Lombardi, yeah, why not?
I found out that people who do Super Bowl ads get those too, because I was at an ad agency who did an ad for a Super Bowl a year or so ago, and they had a Lombardi trophy just chilling on the case for the ad, and I'm like, wait, what?
Peggy's comment.
Peggy, yeah. If they can do cut scenes with Harper looking like a Force ghost, that'd be fire.
well, here's if they were to do that though, they need to shoot a cut scene in more than a single take. So
not keep throwing a water bottle over and over again.
no, just they have to be able to do cuts and edit it together instead of it being people standing here and people standing here. So the camera goes. I'm excited to see how they direct those and how they can improve.
So Thomas, I have to ask you because it's become one of my favorite things to ask on this. We have one of our, even though we're not using the wheel right now, one of the wheel slices that we do when we land on it is top 3. And this has been my favorite question to ask everybody when they come on. And I have to know your top 3. And it could be Star Wars, it could be outside of Star Wars, but what are your top 3 movies that when they come on, you just stop what you're doing, you're flipping through the channels or whatever, you can stop what you're doing, sit down and watch the whole thing?
Oh man. So Terminator 2 for absolute sure. I don't care where in that movie it is. I actually get like a little sad if it's like on, but it's like the last 20 minutes or so. Like, oh, why didn't I turn this on earlier?
God, that Linda Hamilton turn, man, when she becomes just a fucking beast, great in that movie. It's great.
So that's one of my all-time favorite movies in general. The Rock, I don't care what anybody says, PLD, that wasn't a tailor-made answer for you. But like something like the Hans Zimmer soundtrack, Ed Harris, Sean Connery, Nick Cage, like what more could you want in a movie? Navy SEALs, they get shot up. Like
I will not give that order.
Yeah, Michael Biehn because he has to die. Yeah, that was absolutely love that movie. There was a time at which me and my friends would just like speak in Rock quotes. It was like that's how we communicate. There was no actual like creative like normal sentences being said. It was just Rock quotes back and forth.
I only recently watched The Rock for the first time, like all the way through. I'd seen pieces on TV years ago, but I only just finally before Ambulance came out saw The Rock in its entirety for the first time.
Good.
And I didn't realize that not only does the Pirates of the Caribbean score take a lot from Gladiator, but it takes some big chunks out of The Rock's music as well.
Yeah.
So, which is funny because even though Pirates isn't a Hans Zimmer score, he did produce the soundtrack. So it's funny that he's pulling from himself.
This is the comment of the night right here.
All right, what would number 3 be, Thomas?
3 is if I go with my
Paddington
heart,
2.
it is Paddington 2. No, it's I think if it's not Paddington 2, then it's Aliens, another James Cameron special.
So he likes sci-fi. People, who would have known?
Who would have thunk
My
it?
dad introduced that. Like, people are always like, oh, like, let me hear your like introduction to Star Wars story, and like that's a pretty like sterile story. Like, I watched it on VHS, whatever. Like, it's far more interesting. Like, my dad's choices about when to introduce me to Terminator 2 and Aliens. He's a massive Aliens fan, and he decided when I was like 6, like, this is an appropriate movie to show my 6-year-old. Like,
Thomas, sounds like your dad and my dad went to the same
My
school.
dad-
apparently.
I'm like
My
petrified.
dad took me to go see Ernest Scared Stupid when I was 5, and I haven't watched it
Troll.
since. I've literally, it scared me so bad. I think that's why I hate scary movies and like hated them to this day. But I remember him taking, it was like me and my 2 older brothers, and then poor next door neighbor David Christie, who was just as traumatized as I was. Like, my dad's
trolls.
walking with like 4 children out of the theater, 2 of which are just sobbing. And like, people are just staring at him like he's a horrible parent. I'm like, what are you gonna do?
I've got
What are
about
you gonna
2.
do?
I've got a large list of movies. I got about 2 years before our oldest hits that point, so I've got some time to figure out what to traumatize her with first. But
Here's
I
a good
mean,
one from my childhood is Edward Scissorhands is another one.
oh God.
my parents brought me to see Roland Emmerich's Godzilla when I was 5.5. We left halfway through, and I vomited all over the backseat of my mom's Volvo.
Amazing.
I left that movie and went and bought the soundtrack on CD. I was like, yes, this is cinema.
If ever there,
This is
was a
getting
movie,
Oscar.
if ever there was a movie where the quality of the movie contrasted so deeply with the marketing for the film, it would be Godzilla 1998.
Is that the
Because
one with
that marketing
with
looked
Matthew Broderick?
That's a
in
lot
it?
of fish.
Oh yeah,
Yes, that's
Yeah,
a lot.
That's
of
a lot of
fish.
fish.
That's a lot of fish. Oh man,
brilliant. I like the hype for that movie because I was 12 when that came out. Oh man, I was like
Man.
the
completely amped
great
up.
teasers, some great teasers, and all that other stuff. And that was a weird one, but yeah, I was 5.5. Why did I go see that? I didn't see it.
I was younger than you, and I saw that in theaters.
I was I had said this in a group chat earlier today. I was literally just like an hour or so ago. My husband and I were sitting here, and he was flipping through Netflix trying to like find something to watch. And like as he's scrolling past the Hilary Duff classic, A Cinderella Story goes by, and I go, oh, I went and saw that in theaters. And my husband goes, and now you have a podcast talking about movies. Go figure.
The first R-rated movie I ever saw in theaters was Troy.
Mine was the
How
Green
Matrix
Mile.
random is that?
Reloaded. Matrix
How random
Reloaded
is
was
that?
mine.
Green Mile.
I-
Had
it's
you
like my
seen The
parents-
Matrix
my-
at that point? I hope.
Yeah, no. So he said in theaters. My dad had shown me the first Matrix since it came out. When it came out on VHS, he was playing it in the house, and
Yeah.
I was watching it. So I was.
Eight-year-old Matt's favorite scene of all time when he saw Matrix Reloaded
Not like this.
was the rave scene when it's just
My
Neo
eyes
and
were
Trinity
covered
just
during that
going at it, and
It's like
he's
8
just
minutes
like,
long.
Oh, look at all that sweat.
I just
Look at
remember
all
my
of this
dad
sweat."
covering my eyes during that scene. I'm like, what's going on? Don't worry about it.
Why are they?
'Cause he had already seen it for work.
One of my favorite movie theater moments of all time was again being in high school and being a brat, and my mom, trying to do like these, like she told me, she's like, I'm gonna take her out to dinner, we'll go shopping, we'll go see a movie, we'll have a bonding day, it'll be great. And so we get to the movie theaters, and she was like, all right, what can we see? We should go see America's Sweethearts. Catherine Zeta-Jones, Julia Roberts was like, no, I want to see the new Scary Movie. We'll go see Scary Movie 4 or whatever it was, where the guy with the little hand, and my mom was like,
That's Scary Movie 2.
that's Scary Movie 2. So I'm like 15 or 6, whatever. And my mom's like, okay. And like, so I made my mom sit there and watch Scary Movie 2.
My parents just wouldn't let me see rated R movies in theaters until then, and it was only because at the time we were studying Greek mythology in class, so it was like I was able to like convince them because of that. It's like, hey, we can watch Troy. It ties into all that stuff.
And that's
My
what
first
Resident-
actual R-rated. That's an interesting R-rated.
Resident
movie.
Evil. I love them. I still to this day that's probably somewhere in the top 10 of movies as poorly as it holds up to this day.
Yeah,
I
it's pretty
love that
fucking
movie
terrible.
me and my friends were like we had a laundry list, that Bad Boys 2, like there was a
You
short
just
list of
listed
action
2
movies.
terrible movies back to back.
I just watched Bad Boys
You
and
watch
Bad
your
Boys
mouth.
2 for the first time.
The
Like,
very
a
first
few weeks
The
ago.
first one's great. The second one is shit. The third one is great.
I actually disagree. I'm not a fan of the first one. I think the second one is ultra bay to the point that I really enjoy
Pure
it.
Michael Bay.
And the third one is just fun. My first R-rated movie I actually watched though was my grandfather used to just record movies on VHS all the time and give them to me. And there were and the very first R-rated movie I ever saw, he recorded it. It had to have been on HBO, I believe. That's where he would record everything and then just like mail them to me or give them to me when he saw me. And so my very first R-rated movie I saw when I was like
Is this one in
in
Ohio?
no, this is in fifth grade, I believe. I got this. I got to watch when I was a year younger, so I was like the age of a fourth grader. Was South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut? And he recorded it because it was a cartoon.
Thought you might like this. Right up your alley. It's a
And
double
was
feature with the
great.
Beavis and Butthead Do America movie.
And it was great. It was awesome.
I'm so glad I appreciate movies now for what they are. I can tell you like all the movies I wish I could go back and watch for the first time. But I think the one movie that really bonds people in our household now is obviously Big Trouble in Little China. And I love it so much, and even more so now for having an appreciation for Carpenter. But I love the fact that I started out my now marriage on a lie, because when my husband and I first started like talking, not necessarily like dating, but like, we're having like the back and forth conversations and everything. And we decided to like go and add each other on Facebook. His profile picture was Jack Burton after he had kissed Kim Cattrall with all the red lipstick, and he's like standing there looking all cool. And I was like, okay, I just gotta name this movie so this guy thinks I'm cool and wants to like take me to dinner or something. So I was like, I know it's not Escape from New York because he has the eye patch in that one, so it has to be Big Trouble in Little China. So I sent him a text back, and I'm like, oh, Big Trouble in Little China fan. Yeah, that's a great movie. Never seen it a day in my life. Never watched it. No idea what happened in it. And now he married, but once we started dating, he realized I'd never seen it, and we fixed it very, very quickly. But beautiful marriage ever since. Started
real quick.
Good thing you ended up liking it.
I know, right?
Well, no, funny enough, Jenny hadn't seen Star Wars when we started dating, and secretly in the back of my head, I was like, I don't know if y'all have watched How I Met Your Mother. There's an episode where Ted is dating a woman, and it's like, if she doesn't like Star Wars after seeing
yeah.
And that was my mindset. I was like, if she doesn't like this, I don't know how long this is gonna last.
Are you lucky enough to have your wife, the lovely Marissa? She is as into Star Wars as you are, or at least tolerates it?
Yeah, she is like what a normal human being's level of interest in Star Wars is. Like excited about it, but not infected with it. But
let you have your treasures.
Yeah, like her go-tos are like she loves The Martian. She's a massive fan of the entire Mission Impossible franchise.
Nice.
Big fan of the big action movie fan overall. But like if there's a movie that's playing like as we go to bed or something like that, it's from that sort of short list. Like
nice.
Yeah.
Although
lately it's been Force Awakens. So
Paulina never watched Star Wars until she got to see your match in person.
Yes.
And she never will again. And
we watched all 9
It
movies.
causes this.
We watched all 9 movies.
So I got to ask you this because I know you're a collector like myself. You getting the Camtono from Batu at the end of the month?
Oh, I didn't know that they were releasing that. Now you've thrown my life into chaos.
I'll send you a couple DMs, buddy. But real quick, there's this apparently. Oh, excuse me. There's this apparently. Is this true, Thomas?
Oh no.
Smets, if you decide when you decide to come into the Star Wars division, I'll take that match. I'll duck in. I can't guarantee how much prep that I'll do for it, but I will come in and battle like full character mode. I feel like the Smasher versus the Major has some great possibilities for
100%.
story work.
Well, you know what's great? You just heard that himself. Ladies and gentlemen, our other guest of the night, Kevin Smets.
Hey,
What's happening?
hold on. I'm making sure this is all working. Hold on. I don't want to. Everything's happening.
Just throws you off. Didn't wait for the.
I just saw about to sign on. I'm like, huh.
I was talking smack, and then I forgot to make sure my mic was on. All right.
What's up,
That's
man?
Matt for you, not waiting.
All right,
to,
Harper.
get
One
the
question for the Smets, the Smasher Major Championship. How many grains of sand are on Tatooine?
See, I knew this on what was Spectacular played on December 4th. I knew this on December 3rd.
Believe me, everything. The way I train, everything is very short-term memory because it's how I trained in college. I was a really good test taker, but I don't remember anything from college, and I don't remember anything from the IG after my Saul match. So I'm in the same boat.
What are these movies? I've never seen this before.
What? James McAvoy was in what?
There's how many Planet of the Apes movies? Huh?
I tell you what my wife isn't excited about, or maybe is excited about, is for me to stop watching Star Wars with her and like leaning over and saying factoids. She's like, actors, did you know that? No, I didn't know that obscure alien in the suit was a guy that I've never heard of. And will
or
never.
Do either of you do this to drive your spouse insane? I'll be watching something that I've never seen before. My husband has been trying to get me to watch it. I've never seen it. And as I'm watching it, he'll be doing whatever, and then he'll just throw out whatever line is coming up next and just say it. I go, what? And then the line happens. I'm like, God damn it.
See, I used to do that. And then he would
familiar.
hit my shoulder or punch me in the shoulder, and I had to learn to stop.
I think every now and then I mumble a line while it's happening. I don't say it in advance because then I'm ruining the scene.
Frank just throws it out there, especially it's usually a dumb one-liner from when I was watching Last Action Hero. He throws something out, or I was watching Point Break. He just throws it out. I'm like, huh? And he's like, watch the movie. I'm like, you should shut the hell up. And I can watch the movie.
It's the Last Action Hero.
Petty.
The major is going to be missed in the Schmodown. So I reached out to him separately.
Yeah.
I know how hard it is to walk away. I mean, mine was under different circumstances, but it still hits anyone the same, and it's going to hit him the same too. And he's doing it for admirable reasons. So hopefully the door will be open. He'll come back and he can get smashed another time.
Probably not. I'll say
he's going to spend time with his family. It's all about smashing.
Well, Jeff and I already got smashed back in December. So,
Smets, you're one of I could probably count on one hand. I'll exclude Christian because he's not actively playing, but on one hand, the number of players I think who deeply get it because they have kids and what that is, trying to balance actively competing. And I told Nikki and Andrew both this, that I really appreciate having had the shot to play both of them under whatever circumstances, belt, no belt, because it's rare in this league to have people that know that sort of experience and the sacrifice that goes with it. And so I feel like there's sort of mutual respect when you square off. You're like, we lived the same life, I know, in a different location in the run up to this. So, I know you get it, but you were very kind and gracious reaching out.
I get it. I thought, honestly, I went into my match with Chandler thinking he was going to beat me. And I was like, cool, I'll make a comeback, but then I'll be back to fatherhood for another couple months. Then I'll come back for a tournament. You try to go in feeling confident, but I know how good he was. And I know how maybe I could have been rusty, but I keep winning. So I keep feeling bad. Because you're right. Sometimes I feel like I'd rather be with my kid, but no, I have to hit the books. But one thing that I did, which I don't have any of my books around here. So she loves my old school flashcards. She'll just come up and take them, but then she likes to crumple them. So I tried to integrate my studying with her if I could. She loves coloring. So I was like, screw it. I have these big notebooks from my original studying from the beginning. And so when I'm going and reading them, I'll just give her highlighters and she'll just scribble all over.
Nice.
Now my notes are almost unreadable, but it was giving me that father-daughter time. Again, you put so much on the line for these matches, and the more you put on, the more pressure you put on yourself to win. Because when you lose and then you realize all that time you might have lost with your family, that's really hard. So there is a small contingency, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I saw Christian at the tapings right after the Saul match, and like I was on FaceTime with my daughter and my wife, telling him, how I had just beat Saul or whatnot. But then afterwards, he was just like, "It's a different world now that you have a kid, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like it makes everything more difficult. I don't know if I would have been able to have that run in my rookie year that I had. Having a kid and a wife, because I want to be a good husband and I want to be a good father too. So I absolutely understood why you got to step away. There's no better reason than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Well, I appreciate that. And the last thing I'll say, like to the point about Christian, that there was angst in delivering the news to Kate because of like what it meant for the faction and like for what we've built over the last year, just in terms of friendship. But there was no angst whatsoever in telling her and Christian, because like they're also in that same sort of position. Parents, they get it deeply, and like Christian was like, you don't even have to sit. Like I get it. Like I intimately know it, and then some, because he's got more kids than I do. So like having that backstop was also really important. And I know your circumstances were different, but like you were met with the same sort of support, and like
oh no, he was pissed. He was like, "What? You have no excuse."
What do you mean? You can't just show up and still do it? What?
He was so pissed.
You really need like a month to be.
Like, so are we talking about like a week and a half?
He literally called his shot though. When I called him to tell him that, he was nothing but supportive. And I know he probably felt it was at the risk of sounding insincere, like, because I had just told him this big news, but I knew that he was meaning well. He was trying to up my spirits, but he literally beat for beat predicted this end of Spectacular that you just saw in my phone conversation, because I was like teary-eyed and like it's really hard to walk away. And he's like, "Dude, you have this side thing you need to get through, but just imagine it's Spectacular one day and Chandu or someone will be on stage running the crowd down, and then the music will drop or your music will hit and you'll come out." So like, I'm sure he's going to have grand plans for you when you come back too. I will be sad that we don't get to see uber super heel Major, because everybody else on your faction's trash, by the way.
I was so ready. I was so ready for that.
Waiting for it. Harper, I know you got to get out of here, so we'll let you.
Salute to the Major.
Big time. Thank you again for everything, and we'll see you soon.
For all of y'all, it's definitely see you later, not goodbye.
I'm so glad you're not dead, Thomas. We'll talk soon.
But no, Thomas, I sent you those pictures. They're in the
when it arrives and my wife demands to know who's at fault.
Hold on. You're going to, so they're supposed to go on sale the 27th. You'll be in Anaheim.
It happened. I don't know how this happened. Yeah.
You're walking to the hotel room. I just went to Disney and I just got this. So
somebody stole my phone. My identity was stolen, and they ordered this Star Wars collectible. All right, y'all. Smets, great to see you. See y'all soon.
Oh, I see Luke's in the chat.
Oh yeah.
I gotta give him a little.
Am
I allowed to cuss on this?
Go right ahead.
Oh no.
Hey,
okay, there you go.
What the fuck? Yes, you can cuss on this show.
I froze while taking off Harper, and
I was gonna give Luke a little smack, because after my re-debut, he knows what I'm talking about. He was like, "Oh man, there's ring rust there. He can't have that ring rust."
Yeah,
I missed one question in round 1, and I got my 5. That's more impressive. However, I want to know if he thinks there's still ring rust, because I did check down to multiple choice.
Heaven forbid! What
was that ring rust there, Luke?
I will say your missed question in round 2 shocked me today. I was like, okay,
which one? Oh yeah, well, I still and PLD's in the chat, so I'm sure he knows it. But I believe that if you don't feel a horse is your animal sidekick, then you need to not own a horse, because horses.
I agree with you. You got that right, in my opinion. I
love that challenge. I was like that.
In my head, I was like, White Wolf, and then he said horse. I'm like, he did have a horse too.
Yeah, like hold on. Is Bullseye a
not Woody's sidekick?
A sidekick for Woody? Come on.
Yes, come on.
Well,
right like the wind.
I mean, I wish I answered Wolf so we didn't have to have any of that, because I love having a match where there's no controversy. I would
I
have.
don't think that's
If I could go back
Yeah,
in
but it
time,
was
I
a
would have
good
said
Will.
challenge.
Challenge.
And PJ even noted it in the chat there. It was a good challenge. It was interesting. It was good to
Great
see
challenge.
it. And also, it was pretty fun to hear Saul's rebuttal. Horse is
yeah.
a mode of transportation.
What you guys don't know about
I
that
got
taping,
nothing. Horses.
you don't know about that taping is during the when they were discussing it. I'm sitting up there, and you don't see it because they just cut to the graphic or whatnot. But Saul says something else, and then I was like, "What about Tornado? What about Hi-Ho Silver? Like those other animal sidekicks?" I kept saying like the animal sidekick thing, and then the voice of Chandru passed like on the other side of the wall. Like he says something across the wall that was in favor of Saul just to mess with me, and then Vincent's laughing, and I'm like, "There's no escaping you. I'm not even playing you right now, but I'm playing you right now, Chandru." He was just kind of he was trying to side with the other one just to mess with me. So
I love that.
Those are things you don't see on the thing, and I just remember saying like, I can't escape this guy. He's on the other side of the wall, and I still hear his voice.
That's amazing.
Sorry, he just needs attention right now. At this
Is that
Well-
your animal sidekick right there?
one of them. This is Oz.
Hambone,
See, he wanted
hates
attention, and now he's immediately trying to get down. You're an asshole.
Sounds about right.
Okay.
I want to
Go
be
ahead.
loved on my terms too. That's just how it's like. It's like, hey, no, I'm all done. We're good.
Who would have a horse and say that's ask anyone who owns a horse that takes them to their equestrian center, right? You think that they call it a mode of transportation? Come on.
No.
That's their
Get
pet.
outta
That's
here.
their sidekick.
Yes.
Well, Smets, we have a pretty fun wheel lined up, I think, for
Who
tonight.
said it on it? Because I'm ready. I've been working on that.
No.
Oh, a different kind of wheel. Okay.
Different wheel.
Still
This is-
digital. Still digital.
What's really fun is that digital wheel, so you can get some good PTSD from like that.
Oh
digital.
yeah, my one match. It's so funny. Like during the pandemic season, I won the Champion of Champions match. I won the Back to the Future match. But like I do have PTSD from that because of the Chandru loss. Because like I had a really bad round two. I don't know. It's something about the digital that didn't suit the Smasher anyway. So
That's right, because
I
Matt
gotta
has the
play-
wrong wheel up anyway.
No,
so
I just forgot to.
forgot to add the new.
No,
slicer.
it's in there. It's just like you actually have to go in and freaking.
see,
I'm
I'm proud of you,
and-
Matt. I think you're doing a great job, and anyone laughing at you is an asshole.
as Kaiser would say, Glenn Bateman and
Glenn Bateman.
Dan Morrill.
I was telling Kaiser when we had him on Schmo Me the Reel when he called Kate Mulligan a sea donkey, that it
A
was my
sea
new
donkey.
favorite insult of all time.
A
While
sea
Matt does that,
donkey.
I'll just go over what we have slice wise. Obviously, we have your match against Saul. We have the Wild Berries versus Jay. The top three, my favorite slice. Wild card. Cutting the scenes is where we like to talk about these cut scenes that have happened in this past week. Our smasher slices where we have smash hit along with the smash cut, and then of course give me the mic. So this is where we talk about some of these epic promos and everything
Sweet.
that have been going on. So this is fun. I'm excited.
Okay, now that's fixed. Cool.
We got it. We good to go. Matt also likes to help the wheel along. So if we
No,
don't like
never.
a topic or we want something,
Am I gonna get
specifically-
opponent's choice then?
No, there's no opponent's choice. There's no opponent's choice. We love you, Smasher.
It
Don't
doesn't
worry
matter.
about
You should already be familiar with every category. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
We're
there's
not
no
scared of any of these
weaknesses on that
categories,
wheel.
right?
There's
Oh,
no
you
weaknesses
caught
on
that?
this wheel.
You
No
know, it's so
weaknesses on
funny.
this wheel.
That's another thing you didn't really hear. So I spin it, and I always, whenever, if you remember from my rookie season, I always spin it and I would walk
Walk
away.
away.
If I respin it, I walk away because it's like, why am I standing there? Like
Yeah.
I got just as good a view back at my desk. So I
Yeah.
start to walk away, like explosion in the background, slow
Yeah.
motion, and then Winston in the background was like, "Yo, what if it lands on a wild card?" And I was like, and right as I get to the desk, it
And
lands
then
on
it
wild
does.
card.
Yeah.
And so what you don't see is just me like oh gosh, and like having to
God damn it.
tail between my legs, walk all the way back down to the thing.
All right,
Yeah.
let's give it a spin, Matt. Let's see what we
Nice.
get.
All right.
Here I go. Ready?
Yeah, spin it. Oh, that sound. Oh, that sound. I literally every time we have someone on here and they hear that sound, I see a little like happen real fast.
What's small?
Saul gets smashed. Wow. And I didn't even affect that one in any way
It
whatsoever.
just happened.
So,
As the resident note taker Spin from the Real since Chris Anthony Lopez is no longer on these things regularly. Let me pull up my notes. You crushed it. And I love in round one, and I've said it to you before, and I feel like I say it all the time. You are nothing but a amazing sport. Like, you have great promo, like when you cut a promo on someone, but then when you see something like Saul missing a question and getting frustrated, you overhear on the mics, you hear I overhear you telling him one question at a time, bud, like one question at a time, just like to like get him out of that funk. And I love that about you.
Yeah,
Like,
I really like that guy. And I know, it's funny. I know that he kind of gets in his head. And so, yeah, not that, I want him to beat me or anything like that, but I definitely didn't want to come out there and like humiliate him.
Right.
I wanted a good match. So, and that's why, like, he did another thing. He said something, he got a pull, actually, the 15 spiders. And I remember telling him, like, that's a good pull. Like,
yeah,
I know that he was so used to having a manager and he didn't have one. And not that I was there to like be his pseudo manager because I was playing him, but I wanted to give it, sometimes when you're up there at the desk, when you're against a mortal enemy like Chundru, like I try not even to look his way, but like when you're up there against someone else, it's like you realize you're part of a collective and you're trying to entertain the fans and you're trying to put on a good match, and you don't want anyone to just go out there and embarrass themselves. So that's why I kind of was giving him a little, props when I could, and just a little motivation and stuff like that. So,
and you go perfect, and then you also get your bonus in round one. So while also trying to like beat someone or do that, like you're still like, and I'm still the shit. So we're gonna like,
yeah. I mean, I remember I started making it like Kaiser. Kaiser always reins me back in, and he needs to, and because because remember during the Kalinowski match, the Batman match, which was exhibition. And true story, I had just beaten Chundru like the match right before it. So like I was on house money, I was feeling good, and I was just sitting there almost as a fan enjoying his Michael Caine impersonations. And when you kind of get off, when I was starting to interact back and forth with him and being more chill, that's when obviously I got TKO'd, if you remember from that match. And that also goes with, me, I wasn't as focused because I was just kind of like out there to have a good time. But I just remember during the Saul match, there was at one point where we kind of quipped back and forth, and then Kaiser just had to remind me, like, "Hey, this ain't no exhibition match. Like, get your head back in the game." So it's good that he keeps me. He'll rein me in, which is very important. And going into my game plan with Mike for the title, I know that Mike will feel that, wow, that worked. Throwing Kevin off his game, entertaining everybody, being that funny, Kalinowski with the impersonations. I don't know, but I think that might be a strategy going in, and he's going to have a rude awakening because I'll be going in there a little bit more focused, a little bit more, old school smash, as you would say.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And then round two, obviously you defer. Saul gets Star Wars. Goes multiple choice a couple times.
Star Trek.
Sorry. It's Harper. It's all
the other great Star franchise.
Whatever. They're both the same. It's fine. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh my God. Just look. Everyone's saying, this is where I said this is my resignation from Spin from the Real.
You're wearing a Star Wars shirt.
I am. It's my one Star Wars
Matt
shirt.
left because he couldn't stand you anymore, Allison.
It was a joke. It's fine.
Yeah, but he's a snowflake.
This is true. This is very true.
What's up, Mike? Again, I hear you. I see you in the chat.
Yeah.
Hear from you, pal.
But I'm so sorry, friends. I'm so sorry.
I'll give a little exclusive here because I don't foresee me. I don't really care if people know I think they're all my strengths anyway. But I emailed them my slice because you get to pick a slice now. And I emailed them and I was like, you know what? I want something now because I don't really have a weakness and I don't really have a strength. They're all strengths. I kind of choose, well, what do I want to rewatch, in the next week, like the week of the match. Like that's how I choose what slice I put on the wheel is like, what calms me down? What do I want to watch that I enjoy? And it could be any of them. Like I bet you by the time my career's over, I'll have put every slice on the wheel. But oh gosh, there it is. Perfect timing. But I emailed them and I said, regardless of who wins between Amaru and Saul, I'm going to put Trek on the wheel. And for me, it was just like, I just want to watch the Trek movies. It had nothing to do with them. I don't really care about my opponent and how they're going to do. I'm not aiming for that anymore because everybody at IG is so good to a certain degree. I do recall Amaru and Saul missing an easy Picard quote question during Collision. That might have led into it a little. But here's the funny thing. I was like, I feel like that they probably both put their time into it anyway, but it didn't care. Because for me, I was like, you know what? I want to do what makes me happy now. I'm not trying to make studying a chore. So I put Trek on the wheel. And PLD will remember, I emailed him. I said, regardless of who wins. So when he lands on Trek and he's excited, and I turned Kaiser and I'm like, well, maybe that was a bad idea. Like that might have just been a strength of his now. Because it worked out. Obviously, I left the curtain. I put Batman on the wheel because I had the Batman exhibition match the same day against Chandru, and I landed on it. So I was really hoping to land on Trek and kind of go for 2 for 2. So at least it got landed on, and it helped me with my steals just because. I just recently.
Yeah, you had two steals from there. Question 2, question 3 to 1. He went to multiple choice on both of them. You got steals with both of those. And then, of course, we had a classic Smets. You spin opponent's choice. None of these are a weakness for me. And so I feel like, what else do you go with? But when you're going up against someone like Kevin Smets, I feel like people think that there's like, well, let me give you mixed bag because then you don't know what you're going to get, right? And it doesn't matter. Every single match we've watched, it does not matter what you get on that
choice,
wheel.
especially like going in. Like I don't know if Mike's going to put opponent's choice on the wheel or wild card, but like when you get it to a level where like no one has a weakness, like I feel like I don't want my opponent to land on opponent's choice, and here's why: because I don't want to give anyone bulletin board material during a match. Nothing will inspire Mike to get stronger and more focused than pissing him off. And you piss him off by saying, hey, I don't think you know this on the wheel. And then he goes up and he goes 10 for 10. And then he's like, hey, how's that? I got 10 for 10. Right. So like for me, I'm always hoping my opponent actually doesn't land on opponent's choice. Cause like, what am I going to give Mike? Mike knows everything. So, and I think it's different with some other competitors or whatnot, but that's what I was just trying to remind Saul too. It's like, well, what are you going to give me? I don't think there was anything on that wheel that I was like afraid of, or I just remember looking at the wheel before the match and I'm like, okay. And the only trouble is when do I want to decide to stay on something? Because I do like when I have mock matches, just always spinning a second time and letting fate decide. I don't, sometimes maybe it's the PTSD of sticking with Potter against Chandru and just having a weird outing with that round 2. Where I'm like, I don't want to ever stick the first time. I want to respin, but we'll see how it goes. My wheel strategy changes on a daily basis. So
I actually like kind of what you're doing there. What you said about I just want to do it based on whatever I feel like watching.
Yeah.
Because
it's smart
at the same, it's smart because like you have a list. So like unlike singles and teams, and like sure you got to know like deeper stuff for. Unlike singles and teams, you don't have like an infinite number of movies. You have a very finite list of titles to pull from, so it really shouldn't matter what the category is, like at least to me, for something like that. And it's pretty much the same thing with Star Wars. They're on even a more sort of like a micro level with only like that many movies. Like it's just a matter of like you should just know the movie and know all the info for it, because you've already been given a title. It's like you have to know this one. It's not the same thing as like singles, like 90s like that. There's so much in 90s, right? Or 80s or whatever, or there's like 8 different categories Newsies could show up in, so it doesn't matter what the category is. Just know the movie.
It still blows my mind. I went back and we rewatched it after I learned you were in that movie, and I was very excited. I loved that movie. That's probably between that movie and Dirty Dancing are probably 2. Or maybe even Castle.
I did Dirty Dancing too. You didn't know that? Nobody took Baby in a Corner.
But like I watched those. Those were always on every single day on either like VH1 or something else when I would like get home from school for whatever reason through like middle school and most of high school. So these are probably 2 of the movies I watched the most like my whole entire life. But how much of a feeling, how much of a relief is it to be able to go into round 3 and not have to answer a single question?
Yeah. I like it. It reminded me of my rookie year. My rookie year, I had a couple of those knockouts, or those TKO.
I was hoping to get a slam on the table and give me Callanet, like a little throwback to to that.
Yeah,
photo.
The thought was there, but like I just remember it would have been a little off brand because I was holding up JJ's picture and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
it's
and that
true.
win was
Right.
more for JJ than me.
And
For
I
sure.
remember last time you were on, you talked about him, so that was like I loved that moment when you brought that up. I was
That
like,
was important
is
to me.
awesome.
That was really important to me, and you could see it. I think there's one part I don't usually watch my matches, but I just wanted to see how much of a presence that photo was. Like how you're in a zone. I'm like, how often did I hold it up? And there's one part where I don't even know the cameras are on me, and I'm looking at the picture, and it's like right after a question, and then I look like point at the picture, and I do like this, like he's right there. So yeah, that guy's gone through more than I can ever imagine. So it helps put things in perspective. In this crazy sport. And I said, if I was coming back, I told Christian, I'm like, I'm not going to try to be a downer and always talk about cancer because that's kind of a downer subject, but I'm not coming back and spending all these like hundreds of hours working hard if I'm not going to be able to continue to spread the word. And I still get messages every week, usually every week, every other week minimum, from someone saying they went to get checked. Oh, they caught something early. I think 150 people or so have written that they got checked because of what I went through. And like 6 or 7 caught something early.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
There's even a competitor in the Schmodown who I won't name, obviously, but he or she went in and for the same, just because of what I went through, and they caught something early. So
yeah. Amazing. Well, it was an incredible match. And I think we can all say that we're super excited for this title match coming up in a couple of weeks.
I always like watching Saul get smashed. So hey, thank you for that.
Well, on that note, I think we could probably get another spin in real fast.
Yes.
get a spin in. And
another
PLD,
spin in.
you don't want to give champions a choice, huh?
Real quick before we get the spin in, we do have a Streamlab in from Brennan Marr, and he says, I might be a champ, but Kevin is the champ. So that is from Brennan.
You're just as big a champ as I.
Another gem in this community, Brennan Marr. Sorry, I disappointed you with my terrible joke of Star Trek and Star Wars. I will do better.
That was a declaration of war.
Hey, by the way, did you cry early with is the record?
Almost. I got choked up. I did get choked up, but not a tear
record?
fell. You still hold the record.
Yes.
You still hold the record, sir.
She did what she needed to. She just hasn't had anything to drink for the last 3 days, so she's totally dehydrated and can't cry.
I also haven't had anything to drink in almost 6 months, so I'm able to keep my emotions together a lot better.
Allison, it's smash cut.
Smash cut. I feel like because I feel like doing it, I'm gonna kind of throw these two together. So, smash hit and smash cut. You've worked on some cool ass shit as a producer. And then you've also been on some cool ass films as actor or behind the scenes. So kind of just wanted to talk about, I pulled up your IMDb. I got it over here. So I kind of wanted to...
It's kind of surprising when people, the company I worked at where they did the miniature effects, when I left the company, because I needed to leave and go on to other things. And the very next movie they did was Batman Begins. They built the Tumbler, the Batman with Batmobile.
Man.
Like, I remember my first day working at that miniature effects company called New Deal Studios. They disbanded now, but I got to work on the Aviator with the Martin Scorsese movie. Like, I was building,
Awesome.
I was painting the shingles of the Beverly Hills homes that the plane crashes into. I painted those shingles.
That's such a great sequence. It's cool that you contributed to
Then we did Chronicles of Riddick. That was like that first time the first summer, it was like they were doing Aviator and Chronicles of Riddick. But the cool stuff is the National Treasure. So that treasure room, the wide shot, all of that thing, the wide shot, that's a miniature, and it's about the size of a car garage. And
that's so cool.
Everything you see there that's made to look like big statues or giant like vases and things, everything you see there, by then I was out of the paint shop or whatever, and I was helping out in the office because I had designs on trying to be a producer. And I ordered all of those. I ordered all of those things. They're all miniatures, and there was like this. So I was responsible for ordering them, and they'd come in. Then I would like catalog them and stuff like that. So everything you see in that wide shot of the treasure room, these like mummies that are like this, that look like they're like this big or whatever. And I ordered them off the vendor. Like they were just
That's
all orders that I
so
did. Like I was going on
fun.
Amazon. I'm like, oh, that looks kind of cool. You know, they told me what I needed to look like and what percentage, what is it called? Now I forget the 838 scale or whatever it is. And so I was just finding all these things, and some were hits, some were misses, trying to, you know, sneak in cool little things that they're like, oh, that wouldn't be there. But yeah, that was pretty cool. That's my claim.
So
but yeah,
cool.
they did the Batmobile like right after. They did Narnia and Batmobile. Batman Begins like right after it. And I was bummed that I missed out on the making the Tumblr. That would have been really cool.
And did I also have the day after tomorrow on here.
Yeah, I forget what we did for that. I get it. A lot of those were visual effects. So whatever movies that when I was there, all those movies just kept getting added on to my IMDb, and people from high school would be like, "Hey, were you in that?" I'm like, "No." I believe it's all miniature effects work. So that was probably some of the snow effects. Sometimes, like for Spider-Man 2, I worked on Spider-Man 2, and all they did, New Deal Studios did, was water effects for comping. Because this is back when CGI wasn't as good, so they actually take it. And so all that New Deal Studios was hired to do is to take a giant, like 3-ton piece of metal, and we went to the Sony lot and drop it into a giant pool. And then all of that water stuff, they filmed it against a black background where they were able to comp it out. And that's all the water effects from when Octavius is like, "I will not die a monster," and he's like dragging everything down. That's all practical, like, built in.
See, funny enough, I have the Batman theater size poster, but I put up my old Spider-Man 2 theater size poster right over there.
They didn't put my name on the poster. How dare they? But,
they didn't put anyone's name on that poster. This is that one where he's swinging and you see Doc Ock in his lens.
Yeah, that's cool.
So and then with like your acting credits, you've done obviously like what a lot of us know you from Calendar Girl, now Newsies, but you've also done voice work with like Bobby's World and things like that. Did you have a preference to which you liked doing more?
I like the voiceover work because it's like we would go up there, and sometimes if my character only had like one line, I would be up there and in and out in like 5 minutes. So it's like, but it was cool being in a room. Like I usually sat next to the great Frank Welker, and he was really cool.
Nice.
And then like Howie Mandel was really nice, and he's, you know, funny. He started out as like a raunchy comedian, so like he would mess up his lines and start cussing in the Bobby's voice, you know. And it was really funny, like, saying the C word and stuff like that. And my mom is just totally chill, so like she was having a laugh about it in the booth or whatnot. But yeah, I remember like just to be in a room with like Raphael. I mean, or not. He's gonna kill me that I'm forgetting his name right now. But he was one of the Animaniacs. He's the guy who did the Countries of the World. If someone could look that up real quick. The Countries of the World, Animaniacs voices. But he did the Countries of the World, which as a kid I was like, yeah, have you ever seen that? You could Google that too. It's like and he sings all the countries in the world.
You mean like it's
Rob Paulson. Rob Paulson was really cool. Yeah. I would always sit next to him and Frank Welker, and those are like two legends of voiceover.
That was Yakko's song, right? Was it Yakko?
Yeah. He told me that he did it in one take.
Yeah, it's Yakko. I could see it.
He did it in Yakko's World. That's the name of the song. Countries of the World. Everybody Google it and you can see it. It's crazy. But yeah, he did it in one take. And then Frank Welker was cool. He would let me challenge him every day to do a voice. Like I would be like, all right, do this sound effect. And I probably did like 100 episodes, 120 episodes. But every day that I'd see him, I'd have him do a sound effect. So I'd be like, all right, do a car battery stalling. And he could just look at me and be like, and it sounds exactly like that.
All right. So
and then I'd tell him to say, "Hey, will you do it for a Scooby snack?" Because he was the voice of Fred. Yeah, they were all cool. I loved doing the voiceover work. That was fun. I did Johnny Quest unfortunately, they made Johnny Quest older. I was the last young Johnny Quest on Cartoon Network before they rebooted it and made him a little older, and that was really cool too. And then as far as we have a Trekkie here, Trek fan, I sat next to Leonard Nimoy for Halloween Tree, which is a cartoon that I did a voice of. And I got to sit next to Leonard Nimoy, and you'll hate me on this part. I wasn't a Trek fan back then, and like,
oh God,
I did ask him to show me the Vulcan nerve pinch or whatever, and he did it on me. And then I just remember in my head thinking like, that's really cool, like because he was really nice, and I thought of him as like, what a nice guy. But like in my head, I was like, I wish it was Luke Skywalker sitting there.
Kevin, I thought you were going to be like, I wasn't.
I can't say much because I didn't become a Trek fan until like 2007. Granted, I was 12, 13 at the time. So
Yeah.
I was
Oh, must
late.
be nice.
I'm proud to say that the IG made me a Trek fan. I remember I saw like
Nice.
Nemesis in the theater, and I was like, and I liked.
That was
I
the
saw
first time I
2009
ever
in the
saw
theater,
Star Trek.
But like when I was forced to kind of watch the lore and the backstory, now I'm a huge fan. I can't wait till my IG run is over. I mean, I hope I keep winning until I get a title, but I can't wait till it's over because I'd love to watch like the Paramount stuff and like kind of binge. I really do love Trek. So, and I'm proud to say, like, so you find your fandom whenever you can do it. And I was forced to start watching Trek, and then it's something that I fell in love with.
I am happy to report you're gonna love Strange New Worlds.
I'm excited for that. Yeah. I can report to you that being forced to watch Transformers did not turn me into a
Hey, so I'm a writer for the FCL. PLD put me in charge of IG and Star Wars. You want to know the first thing I did? It was watch Transformers because I was dreading watching it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
There's some things I like about it.
Recently,
I love Dark of the
Ambulance
Moon.
Came out. Yeah.
I
What?
love Dark of the Moon.
Dark
of the Moon is a war movie, dude. The Battle of Chicago is awesome.
I don't care. That movie sucks.
I just love that. I just love that Michael Bay has come out and been like, I probably made too many.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
he finally admitted to
He's
that.
like, I should have stopped at 3.
Kevin, it was my tweet talking about Dark of the Moon that you had recently commented on.
It was yours. Okay, yeah.
That was mine. Yeah, because I watched the original, that first 3 before. I saw Revenge of the Fallen twice in theaters, midnight premiere, and then again at like IMAX because I was like young enough where I thought it was like cool. I remember going out of the midnight premiere of Revenge of the Fallen and my friend's dad walking down the long, like as we're walking out, all these long lines to go into the next screening in the middle of the night for it, and he's going, "It's amazing." It's amazing. Revenge of the Fallen. It's amazing. Looking back, I'm like, absolutely not. Why did you let that happen?
I like the first one, and I like Dark of the Moon.
Dark of the Moon was fine. But then Age of Extinction, I watched that, and I'm still not convinced. I'm still not convinced that it's not a parody.
The Wayans brothers directed it.
I think it might actually be, and I've said it before, the single, in my opinion, at least from what I've seen, the single worst big budget blockbuster ever.
Did you see The Last Night?
Yeah, but The Last Night still has weird Anthony Hopkins, and for that I put it above Age of Extinction.
When you literally switch between IMAX and standard.
We've had this conversation.
It's a headache. It's literally every half second they're switching camera styles, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
You guys you guys might be shocked to know this.
You've
haven't seen any of them.
Never seen them.
Hey,
I saw Bumblebee.
You've never seen it?
Smets, she has a new show. You can go bitch about those movies. All 4 of them.
I will see it up.
I told her I'll be part of one of those eventually.
It's gonna be.
Now
it's gonna
imagine
be
watching these movies. So for me,
8 times
coming back, like my main thing was like, all right, I had to get reacquainted with all the the OG slices first. Like that was number 1. Because I know people. I was very flattered when people were like, Kevin works so hard. He's probably, during chemo, he's probably running through flashcards. Let me tell you, that was not the case.
Nor should it have been.
No, of course, it was impossible. So for me, coming back was like I knew it was multi-step, and that's why I thought a potential win against Chunder might be unrealistic because I'm still, even now, still getting caught up to speed on where I need to be. And yeah, one of the things going into the Chunder match is like, all right, I had to get reacquainted with the OG slices, but then it was like, I need to get these new slices down like the back of my hand. And the only way to do it was just repetition. So like, imagine watching those Transformers movies like 5 times. Like, that's how I did it. That's how I made it to where it's all committed up here.
I've done it. I am the one person at this table who can sympathize with
friend of the show, Sean Wingblade, has been sending me messages going, "Hey, you know what you should watch?" And then we can talk about it. So I can study you should watch all the Conan movies. I'm like, no, thank you.
Who said that?
Like, Sean Wingblade. He's like, how about Planet of the Apes? I'm like, what? All like, no.
Looks like you're not entering the IG. Hey, Brian Nussbaum, listen. Cogman is great for the one thing. Here's the only thing that movie is good for last night is when they're talking about the history of the Witwickens, and there's all of a sudden this grand piano, like epic music, and then it cuts to a wide shot, and it was Cogman playing the piano, and then it stops, and then Anthony Hopkins is like, "Hey, could you stop?" Like, okay, the first time I get it, like it kind of made me laugh, but then they do it again. He does it again, and he's like, "Oh, sorry again." Like, that's why Cogman is the greatest Transformer of all.
It is. The movies are bizarre. It is okay. Here's the deal. I watched Age of Extinction on 420, and I made sure that I was in the right state of mind for 420, which apparently not the right state of mind to watch Age of Extinction.
I made the terrible decision to go see the Batman for a second time on what some people like to call microdosing.
And I'm the only one who stays completely sober.
It was it was fine. Everything was fine.
Wait, isn't microdosing like freaking
Shrooms?
speed
Yeah.
and shrooms? Okay,
Shrooms,
okay.
yeah.
Speed?
Yeah.
You're doing
Yeah,
speed and heroin?
It was a pill. It was a pill. It was a little shrooms, little trippy.
Taking
No,
ecstasy during the
maybe.
movie?
I don't know. But
she's just looking for Molly.
and everything was fine. I felt fine because like apparently what you don't always, you get told that, you know, for things like this you have to give it time to digest because like of how you're ingesting it and whatever. So I'm like, it's fine. So like we're watching the Batman. I'd already seen it at this point. This is like the second time that I'm seeing it. So I know what's coming up and I know what's happening. And then I digested it.
And Catwoman jumped out of the screen.
And, well, it was even worse. It was when Paul Dano is in Arkham Asylum and he starts going, Bruce, what?
I'm terrified. It does not sound like a fun thing at all. Go to Disneyland or something.
It was
Do
not.
like everybody else. Take cruise and go to
in
Disneyland.
Chicago, so she unfortunately.
I was in Chicago. I was in Chicago.
She ended up passing out during Wakanda Forever.
That was the night before. I fell asleep on the couch at the party, completely sober, but I was tired because we had been traveling the whole day. Yeah, where it was bad. I was doing the RIP. It's fine. Life is fine. But anyway, Jeff.
I took, what was it, like 20 milligrams from a tincture dropper before going to see Ambulance. That movie is just the camera and the craziness of it. And I'm just like the whole time. And that movie is over 2 hours.
I finally got to finish that movie and I thoroughly enjoyed it. My dad.
I loved Ambulance. I thought it was perfect. It was Michael Bay perfection.
I would love to watch
more
non-IG movies sometime soon in my life.
I wanted
Speaking
more
of non-IG movie Smets, because I like to ask everybody.
That's the other thing too, by the way, the free for all. Every year for free for all, I'm always like, okay, I want a good month. Like, I mean, I know I'm not Bateman saying I can take 60 days and get good at singles, but I have notes and I have a set plan where I can actually, with the help of the database, I can actually get fairly formidable or at least serviceable in a singles or teams match. But again, just like the last time I was at free for all, like I'm just in the middle of this IG run and I listened to Kaiser and he's like, he forbade me. He's like, you're not doing a single note. You're not looking at a single thing that's not about IG. Like, just go in there, you know, and have fun. So that's what I did. But like, you know, what's funny is you're there. And I said, shout out to tailgaters because we're all tailgating outside or whatnot.
Yes.
But like, it's funny. You can't hear it, but I just remember hearing it got a big cheer through the wall. You could hear it on the other side of the studio. But the round, this is how it works, by the way. The round before, I think I went, because I remember listening through the curtain, I went 4 for 5. So I'm like, oh, this is great. And then I go out there and lay an egg or 1 for 5. And then when I leave and I go to the TV at the tailgate, and then the next round, 4 for 5 again. It's like, so isn't that funny in the landscape of things? And it's not like I didn't know the questions that I didn't know, I just didn't know. So it's like, there's 15 questions. And like, I would have known the top 5 or the last 5, but in the middle, when I was there, it happened to be all the ones you don't know, and it's just Murphy's Law. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Back to you.
I like that video. I like that video of everyone in the tailgate watching, and then when Shannon got an answer right, and everyone went nuts.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
She outscored me. I told her that. Outscored me, and I'm a former champion of trivia, at least at some point.
When you're not in IG mode, I need to know what are your top 3 movies, no matter what, when they're on, you can stop what you're doing and watch them, or they could be IG. I don't care.
Well, no, I mean, sadly IG made me so where I don't actively seek them out anymore.
Can't blame me.
Those 17 Harry Potter marathons that are always on USA, you're like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I
Find
mean,
something else.
Star Wars, obviously, those are always the go-tos. I love those. I love Glory from Ed Zwick. That's like one of my favorite movies.
Okay.
I was into war movies back in the day. I love The Last Samurai from Edswick. I would say on a more light-hearted, like Dumb and Dumber. You never go wrong with Dumb and Dumber. Like, those are movies where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep that on the screen. Like, we're not gonna change that. Godfather Part 2. I love showing mob movies. Love showing my wife some of those. Those are good.
Me
so
too. I love a good mob movie.
we're watching
I
Old
will-
right now. We haven't finished it. We're in the middle of it. We're gonna watch the second half actually.
What
Hopefully tonight.
are you watching right now?
Old, the M. Night Shyamalan. So we're halfway.
So stop where you're at. Stop where you're at. Stop there.
Oh man,
Stop there.
old is like so. How's the best way to describe it? I'll say like Euphoria and the last season or so of Game of Thrones have this in common with old, which is the craft on display and the directorial
It's
prowess
gorgeous.
is at such odds with how terrible the script is.
Okay, I'll touch base and let you know how I think the ending is. I just remember I knew the concept, and I'm just like, it would be crazy if spoiler warning. I don't know the ending, so it's not a spoiler. It's a concept. It would be crazy if Kira went into the other room and then like came back and she was 16 years old.
Yeah. Oh my God. I
I
couldn't
mean,
even
like,
But we did. By the way, spoiler warning for someone else. The one part we got to, and then we stopped. We had to stop, but we started laughing because it was just so stupid. Was she comes back and she's pregnant? One of the girls is pregnant. We're like, what?
Yeah. Yep.
I remember I watched because of Bateman and guys Best and the Worst podcast when they were covering M. Night Shyamalan, they kept talking about The Happening and how much they love The Happening. I'm like, all right, I'll go watch The Happening. It's 90 minutes. Like, oh, I can't wait for this twist
or whatever.
Yes, and that's literally what I said. Like this group chat, I'm like, it was the fucking wind. Like that's what's killing. Like it was the plants. Like this was just an allegory for global warming with horrible Mark Wahlberg acting. This is what you made me sit through.
It's hilarious.
Now, it's hilarious. It's a comedy. It's an
I
M.
did
Night
show my wife
Shyamalan
Top
comedy.
Gun. She loved it, so we're gonna watch Maverick together. So I'm excited for that.
Nice.
I don't like Top Gun as much as other people.
I don't like Top Gun as much as other people do.
Yeah, well, I'm old. So you'd have to be there. You had to be there when I was a kid. Like
I know here. My father's
exposure to French kissing was that movie with the
okay. So hold on.
With the black and white or the shot, the highly contrast shot,
yes.
And I was like, "What the hell is this tongue going on here?"
So
no one French kisses like that ever. Like it's not even.
I will say this. Funny enough, I had this conversation with my father, literally yesterday, actually. And he's older than you. He's like, it's a fine movie. I own it because I was an 80s kid. It's not a great movie. The soundtrack's better than the movie, but it's a great movie.
Oh, the soundtrack's
and
amazing.
I agree with him. It's a great soundtrack. Shug wanted to kill me in our group chat earlier when I said it's an overrated movie, but it's got a fire soundtrack.
Top 10 on my soundtrack list.
Iceman had I rewatched it with Dasha with older eyes. Iceman totally had a point. Maverick was dangerous. Like, I'd be worried about being up there with him. Like,
and that's why I kind of don't care. I'm sitting here like, there's a lot of points being made here that are valid.
Yeah,
I watched it for the first time and like really watched it for the first time in like my middle school years, and pretty sure the volleyball scene was rewound quite a few times.
Oh, God.
Hear it for them, boys. Soundtrack is fire.
Speaking of which, next Monday it will be Jeff and Allison running spin from the role because I'll be at Top Gun Maverick.
Nice.
No, I think great production meeting on air like we always do. I'm pretty sure we said we were canceling that.
No, that was the Disney one we said we were canceling.
Never mind. Anyway, and with all of that, but I do have to ask you though, Smets, before getting out of here and going into like your production side of things, because I love reality TV. I absolutely love reality TV, and you have some pretty phenomenal credits on reality TV, including Siesta Key. And I think I saw you posting some pictures working on some Jersey Shore family reunion.
I got to work on I did the scene. I only worked on it for a week, and I did the scene where the situation pops surprises his girl with an anniversary gift, and he's putting a rose in his mouth or whatnot. I don't know the new. I don't even watch the new season, but that was kind of cool. Like revisiting that.
Avid
I used to watch that shamelessly. I watched that back in the day. So to be there, and then like the drives on the Avid and stuff has every episode of every season ever. So like I could just access any footage from anything with the clear sound with the music taken out, like so I could do flashbacks and stuff. That was really cool.
How does something like that like change, like make your perspective of like reality TV? Because I love it. I love just zoning out and watching. Literally, my husband calls it. We have friends who call it. We just call it smut, and we think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I used to have a problem with like what I did. Not a problem, but I would just always be like, I had friends that were like paramedics and stuff, and like firefighters. I'm like, man, you guys do so much more for the world. And he's like, you don't understand, like. When we're done with that shit day, we want to come home and like lose ourselves. And so you're providing a service. Like everybody's pulling it. They're like, okay, well, I'll take that, I guess.
There's nothing more than I love than coming home and throwing on the whatever last night's episode of whatever Real Housewives I missed.
You should watch Love and Marriage DC. They just premiered it it's on OWN. Okay. I edit for right now. So it's going to be a good season. If you like all the Housewives, because I've worked on Housewives of Dallas for several years.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, and so this
Brandy
show
is such a mess, and I love her.
It's basically like a housewife show. So
this is perfect. This is wonderful. Amazing. Well, this has been so fun.
Yeah,
I know we've
pleasure. Hopefully, the next time I speak with you guys, I'll have some hardware.
I hope so too. Do you have anything else where you want to plug where people can find you? All that fun
stuff.
Find
me on the Schmodown winning the title in 2 weeks. That's what they're going to find me.
You got any words for Kalinowski before?
I think Kalinowski knows what the score is. I think he knows. I know. The cool thing is, and he did this very respectfully, obviously, but at Spectacular after my comeback, he came back and hugged me or whatnot. And he was like, and I just remember him telling me this, and I remember in my head, like, that's thinking like, I don't know how I'm going to get there, but okay. But he's like, keep winning, dude. Come back for this title because I'm not the same guy you played, but I want to play you. Like he really wanted me to play. He wants to play me. Like he wants to, I think, redeem himself. Just like I wanted to redeem myself after Don't Tell Peter. He wants to redeem himself after that knockout at Spectacular 2019. And he reminded me, friendly but sternly, he's not the same player. And believe me, I know he's not the same player. Our level of respect that we have for each other is second to none. So I think it's going to be a different vibe. It's not going to be the Batman exhibition match, but it's not going to be, in each other's faces about to fight on stage like almost happened at Spectacular. So I think I'm looking forward to it. He knows I'm going to bring the best game that I can, and I think that he wouldn't have it any other way. But he knows, I think he knows the tide's turning. I think nothing's going to stop me from my destiny. And that destiny happens in 2 weeks. So.
Absolutely. Very cool.
What he said. All right. Well, thanks for having me. I do appreciate it.
Always love having you.
Anytime you want to come on, Smets, you're always welcome to our doors.
We should probably not do it on Spin from the Wheel because we get too sidetracked and we only spun twice.
Well, we had a shortened show with a shortened time with you, unfortunately.
No, it's okay. Happy to do it any time. I appreciate it.
Anytime you want. We love providing and helping people pay their therapy bills by giving this PTSD of digital wheel.
The digital wheel.
Hey, it helps them get over it because the wheel's not going to hurt.
Exposure therapy. It's what we're going for.
Exactly. All right, guys.
Well, thank you so much, Smets. We really appreciate it.
All right, you guys take care. Always a pleasure seeing y'all.
You too.
Pleasure, sir.
And the den are trash.
Matt, I guess now's the best time. What else do you got coming on with the channel?
So tomorrow we have 2 reviews dropping. First off, we have Downton Abbey. That's dropping around 9:00 in the morning tomorrow. The social embargo is up for both movies. I did tweet out my initial responses for the movies I am reviewing tomorrow. I'm checking the embargo on another one real quick because there's one.
If it's the other one, I think it's fine. I saw a lot of people say stuff already.
Okay, the social embargo is up tomorrow at midnight. So tomorrow at midnight, look for my social reaction on the Bob's Burgers movie.
Oh, different movie than I thought you were going to say.
But
Okay.
tomorrow around noon, if I remember correctly, I will be dropping my Rescue Ranger review.
Mhm.
So
Say the full title. You need to make sure that you get the points. Chip
It's-
and Dale Rescue Rangers.
no, this one's actually just called Rescue Rangers.
The title online and everywhere else, and the commercial says Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
So
I
the
love
title.
when we argue on air. This is my favorite.
So the email that's sent to me literally just says Rescue Rangers /Screener Link. So
That must just been the way that they referred to it. I'm just saying
and,
it's called, according to
my review copy.
IMDb and everything else, is
okay.
Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
That's
I'm just
perfectly
saying.
fine. I'm just saying what I have in my paperwork.
They're
is what I got.
slacking. They're slacking.
Anyway,
But tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, be sure to check out my review for Rescue Rangers. Also, yeah, go to the social review embargoes that are lifted, because I can say now that I enjoyed both films to varying degrees, and they made me feel different ways in varying degrees. So, but also, don't forget Miss Salamoni's.
yes, you've never seen it. I'm in the process of getting a few more records in and edited. We should be releasing episodes very, very soon. First episode I announced was with Jesse Swift and Tremors. We got some really fun ones coming down the pike. Just did a great episode with the movie guys, Adam Witt and Paul Preston. They are just an absolute delight to hang out with. And got even more in the books. And these two gentlemen have all have a movie as well. So this is my journey. This is my journey to have people stop getting mad at me when I tell them I haven't seen a movie. So let's go watch it.
And then, of course, if you guys didn't know already, soon you'll get more news on this Spider-Man Mortal, a fan film we are producing over here at Watt Real Entertainment. We got some interesting tidbits regarding casting and story coming out soon, which will also come with a GoFundMe link. So be sure to check that out and support. We want to do something special for everyone and make a story that it's going to be fun and a nice homage to the comics, the movies, all that stuff. So
awesome.
Keep an eye out for that.
Jeff, where can people find you when you're not here?
At Jeff1106 on Twitter. That is with a G. You can also spell Jeff DAN. And yeah, you'll see me around doing things. Maybe, who knows? Eat your vegetables.
Eat your vegetables. Spay and neuter your dog's kids. You can find me here and over on Flick and Reel and on Twitter at Allison Salamoni.
Yes, but before we go and I give the normal goodbye, there's one more Streamlabs from John Lestrina that I had to. I felt like I need to say for the end, and it is: "You were always my brother. I got eyes on Nico now. Dominic Toretto." I just thought of this one. Poor Vince. Poor Thomas.
Fantastic, Lestrina. Don't change. Don't ever change.
With that, folks, remember to spin from the reel and not the pegs.